everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Drew, and you're watching Drew the Theme Park Dude. And yes, as my final Halloween, seasonal video here for the 2020 haunt season, I decided no better than to rank the top 10 best Roblox haunted mazes that I went through. So, I went over around 12 different haunts across 36 different mazes, and I'll be going over a few guidelines before I begin. So, if it is a permanent attraction, such as the Walking Dead attraction, then it will not count on this list. So that will be one thing that was completely abolished from, the beginning. No permanent haunted maze attraction did count. Another thing, they must be seasonal offerings, so, it cannot be open it has to be open during the hot season. It can't be open during during the summer and then this time. It has to be a limited time seasonal house. That is one thing that was the big factor. The second thing, I did count returning houses, but as you guys will see, I'm not a big fan of returning houses, so I don't even think there might be a couple on this list, but not many, so you'll have to wait and see. And I guess the final guideline will be, that don't get mad if your maze isn't on here if you're a dev, because these are my personal opinions. I think every 36 mazes were pretty good, except for one name that I don't even want to name it because they stole assets from another group and I just don't want to start drama, but I don't even want to mention the name so you guys go click on it because they don't even deserve a visit. I'm very sorry to whoever got their stuff stolen because I know them, and yeah, it was not good. So yeah, you'll never see any of them on here, so if you guys know that haunt, then yeah. But okay, so we do have 10 mazes. We'll be going through each one individually, giving it a quick little sum up and talking over all about it. So if you guys are excited, please leave a massive like and subscribe to the channel when Johnson or miss a brand new video. With that being said, we are off to spot number 10 on the top 10 best Roblox haunted mazes of 2020. So number 10 on this list is Shadows of the East from Movie Park Scream Fest 3. So Shadows and Demons of the East was a ninja inspired demon shadowy inspired house. It was from the first haunt season to officially open from 2020. And first time I went through it, I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think much of it because it had a lot of the same used assets. But then I went through Black Magic. It was a returning maze. That was pretty decent as well. But then the second time I went through it, I'm like, wait, I noticed so much cool details, really good animation, really cool scares. And every time I went through that maze, I just loved it even more. So that's why it barely beats the other two mazes that were under this at 11th and 12th Trick or Treat and House of 1,000, just because it was just a little extra. I do think that this is their third year. They do have a little bit more of an advantage for knowing how to do stuff. So yeah, Shadows of the East takes your number 10 spot for top 10 best Roblox haunted mazes of 2020. So, number 9 is Saw, Let the Games Begin from Fright Sanity Scream Park. This was the last maze I did of the haunted season of 2020, so I guess it might have a little bit of advantage there, but it was a very detailed maze. Great work to Fright Sanity for that maze. It's basically walking through all of the films combined, showing a scene for each trap. So there was the bear trap, the gelatin trap, the bathroom scene. There was everything in there. So perfect job on nailing the details. So yep, top 10 has to go to Saw, Let the Games Begin. Number 8, Killer Clowns from Outer Space from Universal Roblox Halloween Horror Nights. So most people might be shocked how low I have this on my list compared to some people that are saying this is the best maze, period. So one thing that I noticed is it used a lot of reused assets from Giggles and Gore, which is the other maze at Halloween Horror Nights that features clowns, of course. There was a lot of the same reused, sculpts and stuff I noticed, which, isn't wrong. It just takes a little bit out of the overall, originality of the maze. Same thing with Shadows of the East. That's kind of why. But I just really did like the colors. And there was a few really good scares, quotable lines, like the pizza guy. Lots of Easter eggs. Love the theme song. The finale scene was a little disappointing to me. It was like a carnival thing that I think we've seen before from Jack Presents at the end, which was kind of disappointing. It looked very similar to that. Lots of Simpson references, though, because they're kind of, clowny, because that link is kind of gone, so a lot of Easter eggs. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space takes number 8 on this list. Number 7, sticking with Universal Roblox Halloween Horror Nights, is Graveyard Madness. This is one of the best mazes, period, in my opinion, ever. at least original mazes. I just thought it was based off Graveyard Games from Universal Orlando, but had a nice like little twist. There were a lot of the same like I guess molds and animatronics for scares, but the scenes were really well made, I feel like, and they made you feel like you were in a graveyard. The best scene was the either church scene at the end or the scene where you cross like a house. If you hear my phone, that's because I'm looking at my like list of my top 10 because I can't really memorize. Sorry about that if you guys are kind of annoyed. But there was this scene where there was like the poltergeist house. It looked like it was this massive house. There was a huge rock under, and like you got to see a car come at you. It was like a little light scare. Really good. The facade on this house was also really good. It was like a big graveyard opening up, and like you walk through a bunch of Easter eggs. There was like an Ed Myers, what a the cruising industry on a gravestone. All these little references like with all like the devs' names. So that's why it takes number 7. Number 6, Shadow Bayou at Disneyland Wales Halloween Party. So, Shadow Bayou was one of 2 mazes at Disneyland Wales Halloween Party. The other one being Outlands, which actually got 13th place on this list. So, not that bad. Yeah, but I'm going to count the top 10, so it doesn't really matter. The reason I like Shadow Bayou more is audio. Best audio to a haunted maze this year. They had the songs, everything. Like, it wasn't really a scary maze, but there was scenes where I felt like something was going to jump out of the water, and it did. It was pretty good. It was a really well-designed maze. Lots of good scares. Just really did make me feel like it was a big maze. Okay, next up we have Revenge of the Tooth Fairy at Monster Park's Monster Mash. This maze has a massive bias towards me because I loved it in real life. It was a great maze. Loved it. But Monster Mash decided to build it there. Tooth Fairy. I just loved the facade. Best facade to any house. Loved the movement of the animatronics. Just overall thought this was a great maze. The audio could have been a little bit better with like the actual narratives, but I understand they didn't have enough time. Next up is a returning maze. The only returning maze on this entire list, but I loved it last year and I love it this year. Jack Presents Monsters and Mayhem Universal Roblox Halloween Horror Nights. They did drop the Jack Presents 5 years because, it's not the 5th anniversary anymore. But yes, it had the scene from every best house. This had to really make the list because it's like a mega maze, and it just really did just feel like I deserved this spot. Has the icon Jack, it was just a really well made maze. Hope to see it again return. Honestly, this maze I would love to see return for many years because it's just so good and it just captures up, like, if you missed the last 5 years of Halloween Horror Nights Roblox, this one maze will give you the best scenes from all the houses. So that's one reason. Number 3, from Vision Park's Freak Show 2, Detriment. So, Detriment. It is a story-based, most immersive, longest maze. It's around 20 minutes. It is the most immersive maze. There are scenes where you stop and you see a scene happen. And then you go through a hallway, get a few scares, you stop, see a scene happen. And it's just so cool because you're at the Final Hour Hotel, which is the big hotel, with the person, Mr. Andrews, and the girl, Lady Abstractica, or whatever. They're like icons of the event. And you get to see their origin stories on how the hotel came to be. Kind of like Tower of Terror, but it's called Hour of Terror, kind of. But like you see them like come at you, like these like demon guys. And at the end, you jumped on an elevator shaft, and they made the game crash on purpose. I thought it was just my device, so I did it like 3 times. And no, the game auto crashes. So that was a really, 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 really well-designed maze. Great work, Quasar and the entertainment, Clock Tower Entertainment team. Number 2, FNAF, The Nightmare Pizzeria at Fright Sanity Scream Park. The second Fright Sanity Scream Park maze. I went through this about 6 times this haunt season, and loved it. Got jumped it's one of the few mazes that literally got me every single time. There are so many good scares. Every animatronic, every game. Similar to Saw, you go through each game instead of each trap. You go through each game. You see every character, and it's just incredible. So, before we get to number 1, it's time for a few honorable mentions. Club Blood from Hell's Domain. Really great maze. Loved it. Thought it was very interesting. Just, first year, so they can improve over the years. The Shining from Universal Roblox. Loved it, but it's a returning maze. Coraline from Movieland's Fright Nights. Thought it was really neat. Well designed. Phobia as well from Hell's Domain. And Waxworks from Magic Kingdom's Halloween party. My final little, I guess, shout out would be the infection to TM123 Studios Ghostly Gathering. This was the only maze I was able to do at Ghostly Gathering. That was the only one I really did. And I do feel, and like, it might not have been an incredible maze, but for the devs' work and how they've only been doing it for a couple years, I just felt like it was a really good maze, and it got me a few times. Great work to them over there. As well as a few experiences I was able to do this season was Fright Manor and Dark Ride at Fright Sandy Scream Park, Freak Show, a theater show at Vision Park, Beetlejuice the Musical, a theater show at Movie Land's Fright Nights, which was absolutely incredible, had the sandworm, had everything, Nightmare Manor Haunted House, Roblox Nightmare Manor 2020. I did not count this as a haunted house, and for one reason only. It's like 45 minutes long, and it's like a haunted experience. The only reason I counted Detriment besides this is because it was labeled as a haunted house. This was more labeled as a haunted experience. And then finally, Jack's Nightmare in the Sky, a Waterslow's Fireworks show at Universal Roblox Halloween Horror Nights. And actually, one more thing is the Are You Brave Enough parade at the Magic Kingdom. Now, for number 1, get ready for Universal Studio Roblox's Halloween Horror Nights, Ghostbusters. Yes, Ghostbusters. I did this maze around 30 times throughout the haunted season, more than any other maze, and loved it every single time. That's why it was in the thumbnail. An incredible maze. Oh my gosh, it was exactly like real life from start to finish. Great work on the devs, and I can't wait. Hopefully we'll return next year. This will be one maze that I still might rank really high next year. So with that being said, those are my top 10. If you're a dev, didn't get yours featured, it's all good. There was great events here, great mazes. There was several incredible mazes, and hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And now we're going to be closing off the haunt season with a Christmas video soon. So, hope you guys enjoyed this 2020 haunt season here. Hopefully next year we'll have more real life Halloween Horror Nights videos to give you. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. See ya. Bye.